My friends, I want to take a look at a story that we are all familiar with. It's a very famous story, it has many, many dimensions to it. And again, our key focus in learning is not so much understanding the story as much as its implications for our lives. And that's the goal of learning. That's the goal of learning. Let's take a look at the story. Yaakov Avinu is left alone. Why he's left alone, that's a story in its own right. And he meets a man. The Chumash describes him as an ish, as a man who struggles with him, wrestles with him the entire night. And he dislocates his thigh. Good. I mean, not good, but moving on. And then the man said, "Let me go, for dawn has broken." And he said, "I will not let you go unless you bless me." He said to him, "What is your name?" He replied, "Yaakov." He said, "No longer will it be said that your name is Yaakov, but Yisrael, for you have striven with the divine and with man and have overcome." And then Yaakov inquired, and he said, "Divulge, if you please, your name." And he said, "Why then do you inquire of my name?" And he blessed them there. Oh my gosh, my friends, there are so many questions we can ask, but we're not going to. We're going to focus on two, and that's all we're going to be able to try to accomplish tonight. This man who wrestles with him says, "Dawn has broken, let me go." So the obvious question Chazal ask is, well, what's happening at dawn that he needs to what? He needs to go. So Rashi tells us, source number 3, Ki Allah hashachar, for dawn has broken. V'tzarich ani lomar Shira. Bayom. I have to sing Shira today. Today is my turn to sing Shira to Hashem, and it was sung as the dawn broke. And therefore, you got to let me go, because today is a day that I've waited thousands of years for, and if not now, then when? And it's an interesting discussion in source number 4. I'm just making mention of it. The Medrash Rabbah tells us that every day a group of celestial angels are created just to sing Shira to Hashem, and then they disappear off the planet Earth. And then there are other groups of angels like Michael, Gavriel, who sing Shira when? Every day. They're around for all eternity. So they're like different groups of angels. So the question we have to ask ourselves is, and this is source number 5, Vadavar hu pele, v'chi lo matza malach zman litavkud im Yaakov el b'zman she'omed lomar Shira. If this malach knows that tomorrow he has to what? Sing Shira to Hashem, get a good night's sleep the night before, and it's not a smart idea to what? To start up the night before. If you know you're going to sing Shira, what is he doing the night before? Because you may not make it on time. So, obviously, we have to understand, what is singing Shira about? Why was this malach needed to leave to sing Shira? That's question 1. Question number 2 that we're going to deal with, again, and there's a lot more to deal with, is, who is this malach? Give me an identifying name. All we have in the Chumash is Ish. Ish could be many things. Now we know in Chumash that, for example, Yosef in Parshat Vayeshev, Vayim Se'ehu Ish V'nei Toeh Basadeh. Yosef HaTzadik is wandering the field and he meets an Ish. And there Chazal say, who was that Ish? Gavriel. It was a malach. It's a great Ramban there that, what does it mean it was a malach? It means that anyone Hashem sends on a mission is like a malach. So in a real sense, my friends, we're looking at many different what? Angels sitting in this room. Yes, ma'am.
Even before with Abraham, isn't it say Anashim or something?
Also by the good. So the question is, who is this Ish? Who is this malach? Who is this person? Question number 3. This is source number 6. Throughout the night, Yaakov struggled with the angel of Esav, was victorious, and he says, I want a blessing. He changes his name, And then Yaakov Avinu asks the angel, okay, I told you my name, now please tell me your name. What's your name? And the angel says, Lama zed tishal lishmi. That's the Hebrew. Lama zed tishal lishmi literally means, why are you asking my name? Well, that's a little bit interesting, my friends. Someone asks you your name, and you answer, basically, in my language, it's what? None of your business. That's exactly what I was thinking. Well, it's really impolite. I ask you your name, please tell me your name. And he answers, why do you ask my name? And that's the end of the conversation. What type of answer is, why do you ask my name?
You know, what I always perceived was because then after he asks, Yaakov, like, why do you ask my name? And then the next sentence is, so Jacob called the name of the place Peniel.
Right.
So I always thought that was what the name was he was given, Peniel. Where does that come from?
Penuel means that I have seen the face of God. I've seen the face of an angel. That's only describing the event.
Yeah, it says it the next sentence where I've seen the divine face.
Yeah,
I
okay.
just associated it.
I hear, but let's look back at the text as it's. Good question. Yes, ma'am.
So is he saying, is he asking what is your purpose? And what is
Don't take away my whole shear here. Let's slow down here.
What was the question?
She's saying is, and a name is really a purpose. What is your purpose? But so I'm telling her to slow down because I have to work a little bit. Before we begin, and we'll look at 4 different personalities that he could have fought with, or 4 different options. Before I look at that, I want to just note one insight, which is, I think, very powerful, and for that alone we could leave. Don't, but you could. It's in source number 7. And that is a malach, who is a seichel nivdal, I mean, in the bracket in 7, who is a yitzur ruchani, a spiritual being that doesn't have a yetzara, ve'eno shum kesher lara, and has no connection with evil, has to wait 2,000 years in order to sing Shira. And again, how he gets that calculation, he brings down here, and who knows, if he misses the time now, the next plane isn't for another 2,000 years, which is what? A long time. Trust me, it is a long time. Now watch this, the bold underline. Ve'ilu ha-Yehudi yachol litpalel b'chol yom kama pamim. An angel has to wait an inordinate amount of time to praise Hashem. Shira is a praise to Hashem. And we have the ability to praise Hashem when? Throughout our day. Kama aleinu lismoach al asher natna lanu hizdamnut kazo. How joyful we should be that we have this opportunity, ulinatzla, and we should take advantage of it in the best way possible. There's a very beautiful piece in the Siva Shalom on Shavuos, in source number 8. He says, "V'zeh yesod gadol b'avodas Hashem." This is a fundamental principle in serving Hashem. Yehudi mekayem mitzvot. We do many mitzvot. You say brachos. Many mitzvot. Afim ein lo b'sha'azu hara sadaf v'rikshay alev. Afim ein lo. Even if you don't feel anything, you're cold as ice. Haray etzem kiyum mitzvah, just the fact you're doing a mitzvah. Shitzocha, that you are worthy, you merit, l'kayem ritzon Hashem, to do the will of Hashem. Sarich liyot etzlo hatanuk hagadol b'yoter mikol hatanukim. That should bring us what? The greatest pleasure. Like, hello, do we understand what we have gifted to us? How every opportunity of a mitzvah is an opportunity of closeness, an opportunity of joy. You open the door for somebody. Wow! Opportunities. Our whole life, if we reframe it, it's opportunities for what? For chesed and closeness to Hashem. If you think before you're doing this, I'm doing the mitzvah of v'halachta b'drachav, following in Hashem's way. Hashem is merciful, I'm opening up the door. Wow, what an incredible moment of connection. You know, I had a student today, it had nothing to do with anything, but I'm going to share it anyway. Had a student today who's trying to figure out what she should do in life. I think I spend more time doing career counseling than do anything else. Okay, I have no experience in it, I understand. And sometimes they even listen to me, that's even scarier. Okay, so she's debating between OT and fixing a house, interior design. Now, what the two have in common? Don't ask. That's not part of the question. So she said to me, this young lady, she said to me, I'm nervous doing interior design because I feel like it is nothing to do with spirituality. I feel like it's, you know, I said to her, what are you talking about? The Gemara clearly tells us a person lives in a dira na, in a beautiful home. It's marachiv daiso shel adam. A person feels different. There's an expansiveness of spirit. I said, when a person lives in a place they actually like to live in, what you're creating in that house, amazing. You have to have the mindset. You're doing a chesed. This is like just, okay, that wasn't bad. Okay, the mindset we can do Avodas Hashem all day, and every part of Avodas Hashem is singing Shira, in particular, source 9, and then we're going to begin. In particular, and I love this piece, he quotes here the following. I'm in the squiggly underline. We say on Shabbos davening, Sahala Virina, Lezecher Malchuso. I am filled with Sahala Virina, with rejoicement, with happiness. Lezecher Malchuso. What does Lezecher Malchuso mean? Being able to mention Hashem's name. Rabbosai, do you understand this? Yehudi in the bracket in 9, Tzarich liot malei simcha v'tzala mimashe zocheh laskirat Hashem. We say a bracha, Baruch atah Hashem. You say Hashem, right? Elokeinu melech haolam she'akol niyeh b'dvaro. You think it's a cup of coffee? You think it's soup? It's Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam. You've mentioned Hashem's name. That's singing Shira to Hashem, that you have the ability to praise Hashem for what He's created. Amazing. We can't contain ourselves. The room can't contain me. I should be what? Jumping for joy. Okay, that was idea number 1. Are we following? Okay.
That's why your name is Shira.
That's why my name is Shira. I'll do less that. And my middle name is Aviva, which is also spring and rejuvenation. Baruch Hashem, Hodil Hashem. Okay, let's leave me out of the picture. That was a smart idea. And my students, even a smarter idea. And let's begin and we'll be focused, maybe. Who is this person? What does it mean to sing Shira? Why is he singing Shira now? And what does it mean, Lama zeh tishal lishmi? Those are the questions. We're all on the same page. Now let's begin starting to answer them. The first one is source number 11. This is from Rav Dessler. Rav Dessler speaks about the concept that air, some will do inside, some will do outside. Air is the opposite of the word ra. Ra, evil, negativity, bad, resh ayin. You flip the letters around and you get air, awakening. What is our challenge? Our challenge in life is to take from the bad in awakening for what? For the positive and the good. Let me put this in English. There is an idea that if you do tshuva out of love, your aveiros turn into mitzvos. How so? This is the idea. I've done an Aveira, and then I say, Hashem, I love you so much. I'm so connected to you. I can't believe I've done this. The Aveira itself became the what? The springboard to now come closer to Hashem, and therefore the Ra became a Hisorus, an awakening for the good, and now the negative has turned into the positive. If it worked for my bank account too, it would also be, but I said we're leaving me out of this. I said that. Okay. When a person is able to overcome the negativity and instead be able to use this opportunity for positivity and strength, that's a moment of victory, and that's in a moment of Shira. And therefore, let's have Salavarina. It should be a schus for all the chayalim, the chatufim. We should have Shalom and Shmir in Eretz Yisrael. Bereshut, Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam, Shakol Niyeh B'Torah. And he says the following. I'm the arrow. Hanivra Magila Madrega Shira B'Sha'ah Shabal Shleimus Tachluto. When a person reaches some level of completion in their shleimus, a wholeness, it's a time to sing Shira. Now this is the key. Let's work with me. It's an interesting concept. Lachein b'sha'ah sheYaakov nitzeach et Satan. When Yaakov overcomes, who is this evil force? This ish on the first level, it's some form of the Satan, some form trying to drag him down. When he overcame, watch this closely, milei hala et shlichuto l'shamesh l'tzadik emsa'i la'aliyah. It's a fascinating concept. When Yaakov Avinu is victorious over him, leave Yaakov Avinu out of the picture right now. Well, Yaakov Avinu becomes greater as a result. He had a struggle with evil, and it was a struggle that happened all night. He overcame the struggle. He became greater. Every time we overcome a struggle, we grow. Who was the catalyst for Yaakov Avinu to grow? Was whom? The Satan, the Malach. Because Yaakov Avinu was victorious and he grew, and the Malach was the catalyst for it, the Malach is singing Shira, that it was responsible for having the tzaddik grow. So we ask, what was the Malach doing here, singing Shira? The answer is the Malach is dafka singing Shira now because this was the opportunity he had. He created a change in the tzaddik to become greater, and as the result, the Malach became greater, and the Malach is singing Shira. Do you know where you see this, my friends, in source 12? You see, we normally think, and there's a truth to this, that Malachim don't change. They're omdim. They don't change, but we have the ability, finish my sentence, to what? To elevate them. Let me give you another example. This might make it a little bit easier. Moshe Rabbeinu gets up to Shemayim. The rest of the ideas will be a little bit more concrete. This is the hardest of the four. Moshe Rabbeinu comes up to Shemayim. And the Malachim said, excuse me, what is he doing here? Right? No people allowed. So Hashem said to the Malachim, to the angels, do you owe something to human beings? Remember when you guys were down by Avram Avinu? You ate by him. You need to have a karasatov, gratitude to Avram Avinu. So says the Siftei Chaim, what's the gratitude they needed to have to Avram Avinu? So the answer is, because Avram Avinu was Moser Nefesh, third day, running 3 tongues, 3 animals to feed these angels, Avram Avinu grew as a result of this experience. Who were the catalysts for him to grow? The angels. And therefore the angels grew as well because they were the catalysts allowing Avram Avinu to grow. You know, it's interesting. We say this in our Rosh Hashanah davening in 14. We say, the end of 14, Uvechein tein pachtecha, thus instill your fear of you, al kol masecha, upon all that you have made, meaning the lowly creatures such as human beings in the physical realm of Asiya. When you put your fear on us and they have this fear, this will cause, let me turn the page, the implanting of your dread upon all that you have created, the angels who belong to the spiritual realm. There is like a cause and effect. When we are elevated and the angels are responsible for our elevation, they become elevated as well. Just in parentheses, I want to share with you, because we're never too close to Rosh Hashanah. We say in an Asana Tokef, Umalachim yechapezun, uchil urada yochezun. And the malachim are petrified, they're terrified. What's this idea the malachim are terrified? So there's a lot of Torah on it. But there's an interrelationship between what we do and the angels that we create every time we do a mitzvah. We know every time we do a mitzvah, we create an angel. These angels are affected by what we've done. And that's why the angels are so terrified, because they've looked over our record of how we've done. That you called a bracha, that you called creating an angel. I'm missing 2 feet. I'm missing an arm. I'm missing 3 eyes. Okay, we only have 2. I understand. When Yaakov Avinu acted in this way, it impacted the angels to be elevated, hence they sung Shira. On this level, Yaakov Avinu then turns to the angel in source 18 and says, I was able to be victorious. I want to know your name, and as was said correctly, a name is your essence. Tell me, who are you that I can be able to warn my descendants how they can overcome you? To which he answered, one answer in 18, Rav Chaim Dov Keller, why do you ask my name? It's a pointless endeavor to prepare your descendants for their encounters with me. My mission is to test people, and in order to do this, I change form in every generation. The situations change, the temptations change, and I change. One generation will be idol worship. The other generation will be enlightenment. Every generation, I change. So I can't tell you my name because my essence change and the challenges change. So he writes here at the end, in our times it would seem that the Yetzer Hara is the pursuit of wealth and worldly pleasures. I think we could add, this was written, X amount of years ago, that it's even developed even more fine-tuned, that where the Yetzer Hara really gets us today is where? Say it? Technology. And I'll give you an example. I'm not talking about, I said I was leaving my students alone. I left them alone for a good 5 minutes. Now they're back on the table. And the table is sturdy today, Baruch Hashem. A girl could say to me that she spends 6 to 8 hours on her phone a day, and up to 13 hours. As far as I checked, there are only 24 hours in a day. Maybe I lost count. So let's leave my students alone. Have any of you ever had this experience? Maybe you have. You want to buy something on Amazon. Any of you buy anything on Amazon here? Does anyone here buy anything on Amazon, on one of any of those things? Okay, enough of you. AliExpress, whatever they are. You know what I'm talking about, whatever. You say, I'm just going to buy one thing. Amazon or AliExpress has my address already on it, and it has my credit card already on it. So it's just picking the item and pressing send. And I know what I want. How long does it take? I'll give you 3 minutes. I'll give you that. So I go on and I pick the thing that I want. 2 hours later, I say, oh my gosh. Any of you have ever experienced this? Rabbosai, the Yetzer Hara is about distracting us from being focused on what we can create in our lives. We have a lot of distractions today. And this is not an anti-technology class. Technology is great. It's about making sure we don't get lost in life. And if it's not technology, then find the thing in your life that just distracts you. So I will say, I'm just making one more comment. Do you know how many things beep around us? Yeah. Like, who has Yeshiva Das anymore? Matt, and this is my last comment, and then I'm really going to be focused, and we're going to move here. You're davening in the morning, and you hear a beep, and you're thinking to yourself, who's sending me a message so early? I wonder if, and the entire davening you're thinking. And what is it? It's Amazon telling you that sneakers are for sale and you can get a third pair free. The fact that you don't wear sneakers is irrelevant. You had a comment.
Yeah, no, I have a question. The idea of the angels kind of turning from good to bad because of our
Yes,
action, does that apply to evil humans here?
for sure, for sure,
Is
for
there a
sure.
difference?
There is a difference, but it's so deep what you're asking. I will just say in simple English, whatever we do impacts everyone around us. And we should imagine that we are the pilots on a plane and the entire world, but definitely the entire Jewish people is on that plane. And if you want to make a wrong turn, the whole plane is going with you. Do you feel any responsibility? No, not so much. Okay. Are you following me? We're all in this together. And, and we think that the war is just down south or up north. The war's happening right here when I don't answer back to somebody that I should answer back. And all of this is part of the entire Jewish people. We're holding each other up. So that was the short answer to a much deeper question. Okay. Second idea. Let's move a little bit, my friends. Let's take a look at source number 20. It's under 19 in the TORAH. He quotes here the Gaon Mitzvim, who says the following. Who was the angel? The angel was the Satan. Similar to idea number 1. It was the Satan. The Satan isn't intrinsically bad. He has a job to do. And his job is to make sure that we don't do good. That's his job. Now, V'hinei, third line, Kishematzlichim litgaber alav v'lo mekablim dvarav, when we don't listen and we overcome the Satan, guess what? He is very happy. Because he doesn't want us to go over the will of God. He wants us to listen to Hashem. But he struggles because this is his job. The Satan, he's saying, isn't intrinsically bad. He's an angel of God. And God says, I want you to mess people up. So he has to do it. But that doesn't make him happy. This is like, a paradigm shift. So that when we overcome the Yetzer Hara, we should say, wow, I'm happy. And guess what? You're also happy. Now watch what happens. Yaakov Avinu, in this struggle, when he is struggling, and this is again a much deeper idea, when he's struggling with the Malach, he is 100% focused on vanquishing evil. And that's why the Satan has no place to overcome him. When he touches him on the thigh, dislocates him, it's not him, it's really whom? His descendants. Yeah, Yaakov Avinu is perfect. Now watch this. At that moment when Yaakov Avinu has really won, and dawn has broken, and dawn is the time we sing Shira, the Malach says, this is the first time I have met somebody who has so completely, who can finish my sentence, defeated me. This is the first time that I can ever really what? Sing Shira. This is the first time I can really celebrate that I have been defeated 100%. So let me go because I haven't had a moment like this. Because since Adam brought down the world into the world we have it, Tov and Ra, good and evil are so intermixed, you never have that purity of spirit that Yaakov Avinu had. So at this moment he says, I have to sing Shira. I haven't had a moment like this until now.
Why not with Abraham and Yitzchak?
So again, they as great as they were, this is what he's saying is there wasn't a struggle like this that he had overcome. So the closest you would get is the Akedah. The closest you would get to the Akedah, which would be interesting, why we don't really find the Satan there. And there's a lot of Torah on why the Satan started up with Yaakov and not with them. And yeah, there is. Now, who is this Satan? What is this Satan's name? So 24. According to our sages, this angel is the guardian angel of Esav. When Yaakov asked the angel for his name, he's actually trying to discover his essence. What are you all about? So I want to share with you two ideas on this. Idea one. Why do you ask my name? I'm in 24-second paragraph. In other words, explains Rabbi Yehuda Leib Chasman Zatzal, there's no point in asking this question. The Yetzer Hara is not a reality, only a figment of the imagination. It's an image that's conjured in the mind when a person is consumed by desire. But in reality, there's no separate entity called the Yetzer Hara. It's the person himself. Sometimes a person lies in the dark and sees huge shadows forming on the wall. He's terrified. Perhaps it's a bear or an intruder. Then he puts on the light and sees it was nothing, an overactive imagination. This is the Yetzer Hara, a shadow in the night, a figure, a fantasy. And in 25, the Sifti Chaim develops this as well. That really, if you had to define the Yetzer Hara, you would say it's Olam Hadimayon, the world of fantasy. Let's put this into English. You have a great piece of Lashon Hara. Okay, so what do you think in your mind? I'm going to feel so good letting you know this. It's going to make me feel great. Is that a real feeling or what? It's an imaginary feeling. It's all an illusion. All this Yetzer Hara is an illusion. I'm going to give an example, and don't get me wrong. Eating a croissant is not a sin. I'm using it as a metaphor, because I don't want anyone walking out of here. Okay. You pass by a bakery, and you see in the window a croissant. And you say, I'm not hungry, and I don't really have the money to spend, but this looks delicious. I can't pass this up. So you walk in, and you what? You buy it. You take one bite out of it, and what do you say? This wasn't worth it. This wasn't worth it. Do any of you ever been in that experience? And I'm using it as a metaphor. We conjure up in our mind, this pleasure is going to be what? The pleasure with a capital letters. And then we indulge in that pleasure and we say what? It just wasn't worth it. That's the Yetzer Hara. Why do you ask my name? I don't have a name, because a name means an essence. I am not an essence. What am I? I'm a figment of your imagination. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, but Yaakov had a physical ailment from this fight.
Yes, I agree.
So it wasn't only a figment of his imagination.
No, I agree with you. I agree with
The
you.
result was a name change.
I agree with you. 100%. 100%. At the same time, even though he was affected physically, we're talking about metaphorically what was this battle about? That the Yetzer Hara tries to get us on, just on a metaphorical level, with desire. So I'm leaving Yaakov Avinu alone and I'm moving into my life. And that's what Yaakov Avinu is asking. How are you tripping up my descendants? And this is what he says to them. This is the greatest way. They just put an imaginary thought in their mind, and that's enough to get them to what? To fall for it. The second way of understanding this in 26 is Sichos Musar of Chaim Shulevitz Zatzal. And he says, I'm in 26, by asking his name, Yaakov's actually asking him to explain his essence. The name of an entity defines its essence. This we learn from the fact of greatness, express itself in ability to give names. This then gives us an understanding of angels' reply. Why do you ask for my name? The angel of Esav was not posing a question, but rather giving a reply. My strength lies in the fact that people do not pause to examine me more closely to know my name, my essence. For if they would, it would dispel the illusion that I present. A different way of understanding it is Lama zeh tishal shmi. Why are you asking my name? Is his name. His name is, why are you asking my name? Because people do not ask. Did I lose you? People do not ask and wonder. Because if we would stop and pause, we would realize that what? It's not really worth it. And that's where Dov Yafet talks about in 27. Most of our problems in life, he says, is ואם הייתה הידיעה רחבה ועומדת על לב האדם, לא היו חוטאים לעולם, ואף לא היה היצר קרוב אליהם. If we would be very clear on where we're going and who we are and what we are doing, we wouldn't be sucked into this abyss of the Yetzer Hara. But we don't think, and we don't ask, and what do? We do. I want to share with you a piece that I just learned with one of my classes that I'm teaching, a piece from the Haras Derech, Rav Uri Weisblum. It's a fantastic piece. It's from sources 28 through 30b. And I'll tell you, my friends, if we're able to integrate this idea on a very practical level into our lives, i.e., try it once, you'll like it. This is what he says. The Gemara tells us that when we're first tempted to sin, that temptation can be compared to the spider's threads. Give me a better word. What do spiders make? The web. But what do you call the things they make the web with? What's the name?
Skein, S-K-E-I-N.
Well, I do not want to play Scrabble with you. There you have it, my friends. Skeins. Go home and use that word. If you continue to be affected by the Yetzer Hara, it becomes as strong as ropes that can pull a wagon. And this is what the Bali Musar say. You see, generally, why do we struggle so much, whether doing an Aveira or not doing a mitzvah? It's because the struggle is at the end, literally at the end of our ropes. It's not at the beginning. So let me put this in English. Let's see it inside, because it's better when I do it inside. 30b. Zoi ma'apecha b'chol gishatenu lavodah. Anu nevakim kol chayenu mitzraynu. We always struggle with our Yetzer Hara. Mokeda milchama etzleinu hi. And our point of struggle is, of war, al safas siyat aveira lifnei b'tol mitzvah. Right before I do the aveira, the sin, or right before I don't do the mitzvah. Mishum kach anu nochalim kishlonot. And we usually fall. Ata mitgaleh shemakom hamilchama hi dafka behirhur harishon bereshit hatchalat hapitui. If you want to be successful, nip it in the bud. Let me put this in English. You have a thought. Let me speak Lashon Hara. No, it's usser. Finished. And I move on. The moment that I start arguing, was it really Lashon Hara? I understand if I told it to that person's Lashon Hara, but this person, it may be the Toela. Their great-great-grandchild may want to make a shidduch with this great-great-grandchild. And obviously you have to know about the great-great-grandmother. Huh? Yeah, no, it's the Toela, I'm telling you. We create the craziest excuses. And once I start creating excuses, guess what? Goodbye. Finished. If I'm able, as soon as the Yetzer Hara comes to me, Lama zeh tishal lishmi. Why do you ask my name? Because if you ask my name, you're actually thinking about what you're doing. Immediately think, realize, and then what? Stop. Move away. And the same thing holds true. Should I invite this person or should I not invite this person? And it's a chesed, and you know you need to invite them. So call them up and invite them. If I start thinking, or I'll just give another example, it might be a little bit easier. I'm using this again as a metaphor. Aunt Sadie. Aunt Sadie is very lonely. So you should call, you have in your mind, I'm going to call Aunt Sadie right now. Let me say hello to her. You understand Aunt Sadie is? It could be anyone in your life, yeah? So I say, you know what? I don't really think I should call now because Aunt Sadie may be sleeping, or it might not be a good time for Aunt Sadie. It's really not a good time for me. Once you start having that conversation with yourself, guess when Aunt Sadie gets called? Very good. She doesn't. If I pick up the phone right now, or WhatsApp her right now, or whatever I do right now, and say, Aunt Sadie, I'm just thinking about you, it will get done. And again, I'm using the croissant and Aunt Sadie, and I'm using them as metaphors for life. And I'm telling you, my friends, I'll just give one more example. and then I'll just develop this a little bit further. You ever gone to the store? This is an example. And they have you buy 3 ketchups and you get the 4th one for free. Okay? And again, I'm using ketchup as an example. So you say to yourself, 2 options. I don't need 3 ketchups, and I push my carriage on. Or 3 ketchups. That's a good way to catch up. If I buy 1 ketchup for this person and 1 ketchup for that person, I don't know if they really need it, but you get 1 for free. So can you imagine if I have 3 and then 1 for free, and you don't need the ketchup. Trust me. But I'm using, again, the ketchup as an example. Once I stand there by the sale item, starting to go back and forth, 9 times out of 10, that ketchup is going to land in your cart. And then you're going to get home and say, what? Why did I buy 3 ketchups? I don't need 4 ketchups. Lama zeh tishal lishmi. And again, there is that element of dimayon. If I had a lot of ketchups, I'll never be out of ketchup.
What if you buy one for Nancy?
What if you buy one for what? For Ansani. Oh, that's a different story. Okay, I like it. I hear it. So that's where he really gets you. You're doing great tonight. That's where he really gets you. It's not clear. It's not ketchup that I don't need. It's something that I may need, don't need. I have the money for it, I don't have the money for it. So again, in life in general, move away. And then when you're not in the moment, come back. They say this, by the way, if you get nothing else out of this. Last week we got the pantyhose in the freezer. This is tonight's tip of the trade. Every week you get a tip of the trade. If there's something on sale, don't buy it unless you really, really need it. I'm saying generally, don't buy it. And if you need it, you'll come back then tomorrow to get it.
But he won't be there.
Then you know what? Yeah, you're very from here, yeah.
So is there a Sarah and Yaakov that he asked the question? That he didn't recognize that, I shouldn't be asking this question, because asking the question is already starting into that rabbit hole.
Right. So maybe that's why the angel is answering him what? Right there. Don't go further. Maybe that's the deeper understanding of the dialogue. You hear me? The angel is saying, let's not go down there. If I tell you my name and each time and this and that, we've already... Good, very well stated. Let me just make mention before I go on. There is an interesting, I just want to make mention, and then we'll do level 4 and 5. 3 and 4 rather. This is level 2. Yeah, we're still in level 2. Good. There is an interesting difference of opinion in the Medrash. Did this Satan dress up like a robber, or did he dress up like a Talmid Chacham, like a scholar? That's the question in the Medrash. The Gemara talks about this. And we should recognize, I'm in the middle of the Darash David, Rav David Hofstadter from Toronto. Sometimes it appears in an idol worshiper. I'm mamish in the middle of 31, which means that sometimes it's able to make a sin so appealing that it can say, go ahead and do it, even though we know it's a sin. At other times, the Yitzhar appears in the guise of a Talmid Chacham. It plants thoughts in a person's heart that persuade him not to perform a particular mitzvah, convincing him that for 101 reasons it really would be against the halacha to do that mitzvah. This Yitzhar sometimes persuades a person to commit an awful sin, convincing him he's actually fulfilling a mitzvah. And that's what we have to understand. When we're dealing with the Yitzhar, we don't have clarity. Is there a cricket in here, or is it me? It is a cricket? Okay, that's fine. Now, idea number 1, when Yaakov Avinu became elevated as a result of this fight, the angel who was the medium for this became elevated. He sang Shira. He reached a level of elevation due to Yaakov Avinu. This was his time to sing Shira. No, in every generation, we're dealing with a different, and each one of us has to understand and be able to look ourselves really in the mirror and say, what is it that is pulling me away from using my time in the best way possible? This is a very personal question. Idea number 2, Idea number 2 is that the Satan himself was for the first time really able to sing Shira because he was able to have someone defeat him so completely. And that was the moment of Shira. Why is it so hard for us to be in that same place? And the answer is clear. It's because we live in a world of fantasy and you don't even realize it. Think about Shemona Esrei. You start davening and then your mind wanders to where? Right, they say before Shemona Esrei, you say Tefillah Saderech, because your mind is going, in a zillion different places. We can't focus. We're in Olam HaDimayon. We live very much in the world of fantasy. And one of the things, and I'm really encouraging us to try to put it into action, is when a thought comes into your mind to do a mitzvah or about an aveira, nip it in the bud. It's so much easier to break who remembers the word? I don't. Schemes. Schemes? Skeins. Let's pronounce it. Skein. Then once it becomes a rope. Third idea. Od ita b'medrash, my friends. Let's move out of third grade here. The malach wasn't the Satan. It was either Michael or Gavriel, the good angels. And they sing Shira every day. Did you ever hear this? It was the good angel. Why is the good angel fighting with him? So the answer is very simple. Let's move to the next page, and I'll tell you why. The asterisk in 35. Ulufia mainda amar desfari le shayaza malach Michael. Mired dahainu mishum shaita tana alav madua hu mijarei me'esav. Acharei shivticho Hashem v'inei anochi imach u'shvarsicha b'chol asher telech. Ukamo shamru b'medrash shamar lo Michael kach asita li v'ata mijarei me'esav. There is a little bit of a contention, again, on the level of Yaakov Avinu. Yaakov Avinu is told, I'm going to be with you. Hashem says, I'm going to protect you. And then we find in our parsha, Yaakov Avinu vayira, he's petrified. I told you I'm going to be with you. Why are you afraid? So therefore the malach comes and fights with him to show him, you're afraid? You don't think you can have the strength to stand up? See, you beat me. If you can beat me, for sure you can beat who? Esav.
Why does he hit him in the cover?
That's a separate question. You want all the answers.
Number 4.
What?
Number 4 said, what we said before, number 4, it said that this is true of the angels, Michael and Gabriel, who are celestial princes.
Yes.
So they don't get destroyed. So
Right.
it changes the whole meaning. If they don't get destroyed, then why were they worried about not being able to sing Shira? They can always sing Shira.
You're right. But every day is an opportunity to sing Shira. I'm not missing a day. If you realize every day, can you realize that every opportunity I'm going to miss an opportunity? Hello, to sing Shira. You got it. Yeah. Okay, good.
I like the other part.
I present many different options. You may choose. What is the name of the malach? Listen to Rebbetzin Yemima Mizrahi, 36. I have no name. If we really understood what Shira was about, my friend, you don't want to miss it for a minute. I have no name. Why? Listen to this. There is no name for fear. Baseless anxiety has no name because it's all in the mind. But you, who won this battle, will receive a new name, Yisrael, because Yaakov banished his fear and did what he had to do despite his fearful nature. He received a name that personifies victory. And it's interesting that darkness, Shachor, and Shachar, morning, are related to each other. The sun rose for him. Very soon all your fears will be obliterated. Once the morning star will rise in the sky, you will see that you aren't Yaakov anymore. You are Yisrael, the one who won the battle. Idea number 3, it was Michal or Gavriel to show him his strength. I have no name because fear has no name. Lo irara ki ata imadi. Now, my friends, we're doing last one, and this is perhaps the most important one for us, so work with me, my friends. Nesiva Shalom. We know in the asterisk in 37, Yesh l'chol yom v'l'chol sha'ah v'l'chol yachid yudim v'tafkidim yuchadim. Every day, every hour, every moment is new. And that's the idea of the angels being created every day new, because life is new every day. And that's why a person should never say, well, I've done this for all my life, so that's nice. But tomorrow's a new day. I'm a chadish b'tuva b'chol yom tavim asabrechi. Hashem renews creation. Every day is new. Now, here's the key. Why does Hashem create these angels every day? What does it mean that they sing Shira? The Maggid of Kushnitz, it's absolutely stunning in 39 of OUisrael. He says, Shakadosh Baruch Hu boreh b'chol yom kat melachim chadash shalomar Shira. Hashem recreates every day a group of angels, new angels, to sing Shira. Shetachli priyatam hi la'orer b'chinas avas Hashem o yiras Hashem v'dugmasam ba'olam. Shaidei kain yitarer lamata belev ish Yisraeli hamidos hakadoshos halalu lavod bahem liotzer hakol. This is so stunning. Why are the angels singing Shira? Hashem needs more angels to sing Shira? What's going on here? Rabbosai, these angels singing Shira is not just for the Ribono Shalom, it's for who? Us. When they sing Shira to Hashem, when they have that Hisora Roset awakening of love, of awe for Hashem, at that moment it creates, going back to what you were saying before, it creates a reverberation in the world that we feel this energy if we tap into it of love and awe of Hashem, and our service of Hashem is impacted by their Shira. It's like being, what'd you say?
No, it sounds very theoretical.
Yeah. So work with me. I need you to work with me. I have 8 more minutes, okay? So you got to work with me a little bit. It's like being able to tune in to, the right station, like the truckers. Is that the right thing? Truckers have a channel, exactly. If you tune into the channel, then you're there. If you don't tune into the channel, then you say what? Well, what are you talking about? It's not what am I talking about. The problem isn't the channel. The problem is your reception. That was very well stated. Your reception.
Is that where we say Shema Yisrael? Like Yaakov and Yisrael, we have to hear it?
Oh, it's very nice. Shema Yisrael, we have to hear it. We have to be able to. And it's after the Kulam Ahuvim, Kulam Berurim. In the middle, Birkas Kriyat Shema is about what? The angels sing Shira to Hashem. Why do we mention this in our davening? It's not just telling us a fact. It's to be what? It's to awaken us. Hear the melody in the world. And I will tell you, I lived in LA many years. It impacted me. I don't want to say how, but there's right, we know LA stands for Lo Aleinu, we know that. Yes. There's an energy in the world. They're great people there, Baruch Hashem. My daughters were born there. I can't say anything bad. There's an energy in the world that if you tap into it, you will see that sometimes my bracha will be different, and I'm wondering where that's from. It could be the result of what? That I'm more tuned into, I'm more plugged into this Shira of the angels. But I need you to work with me. And now I'm putting my foot on the accelerator. Here we go. Why are we on planet Earth? In 5 minutes or less. So we know in source 40 that Adam Harishon was supposed to fix all of evil in this world, and he didn't. So now, Tikkun Olam is not just saving the dolphins. Tikkun Olam, maybe them too. Tikkun Olam is about fixing a little piece of evil that's found in this world that I have to rectify. In simple English, that's some type of midah in me that has to be worked on. And this, as Reb Tzadok says in 42, if you find that something is really challenging in your life, then you have a good indication that this is what you need to work on. Listen to what the Mashgiach Rabbi Yerucham says in the arrow in 42. If we didn't have a Yetzer Hara, we would have had to daven to Hashem, give me a Yetzer Hara in order to overcome it. And he goes on to say the following, and this is the key in 43. Zeh mabat chadash al ikar avodatenu. This is like reframing our point in life. Ube'emet anu choshvim kefi hanisrach lemilchama neged hayetzer. Anu choshvim sheikar avodah hi Torah mitzvos. If you ask most people, why are you on planet Earth? They say, I have to do Torah mitzvos. And the Yetzer Hara just gets in my way, and I just have to what? Push it aside. No! V'zu ta'ut, this is a mistake. Ikar avodas ha'adam, the main purpose in this world. Hi ha'milchama ha'tmidit neged ha'yetzer is our continuous battle against the Yetzer Hara. Lifnei hakol, aleinu ladat sheyesh ra. There is negative things in this world, and we have to work on it. And every person has their piece in working on it. For some people, it's jealousy. For some people, it's anger. For some people, I don't want to give you suggestions, yeah? It is. And listen to Rav Kestenbaum. It's not an easy task. 44. Indeed, Rabbi Shel Salanter is quoted as saying that it's harder to fix a single midah than to learn all of Shas. In this regard, unfortunately, we find that some people at age 50 are still at the same stage they were as they were 15, with the same midos, anger, jealousy, cowardice, so on, with a person according to his inborn nature. This phenomenon exists even among those who immerse themselves in Torah mitzvos, for if they did not work to rectify their midos, they cannot possibly have overcome their natural tendencies. My friends, this is so crucial. Why are we here in this world? We're here to be able to struggle. That's why we are here. So when I have an urge to speak Lashon Hara and I don't, I have an urge to get angry and I don't, I have an urge to give that retort, oh, it's a good one this time, and I don't. At that moment, I've created an angel to sing Shira. At that moment, I have done parts of my tikkun in this world. Our world is about struggle, and I want to share with you, I know I'm flying here. You have the sheets. If you want to look them over, you can keep them. If not, don't. Says the Be'er HaChaim in source number 46 from Biederman Shlita. He says, don't think, though, that your job is to conquer. Your job is to struggle. Hashem's never going to ask you if you succeeded, because that's not in your hands. What he wants from you is to be in the process. Be in the ring, the boxing ring. Now, this is why Yaakov Avinu, the name he gets, doesn't make sense. He's called Yisrael, Kisarita, because you have fought with the angel and were victorious. Then his name shouldn't be Kisarita, that you have struggled. Your name should be on Tuchal, that you should have been, you were victorious. Why is your name on the struggle, Yisrael? Because this is our job. And know, my friends, and I want us to hear this, and I found this to be so impactful. When we struggle, Hashem will help us in our struggle in ways that we can't even imagine. And this explains a chazal we all know in a whole different way in 48. Pitchuli petach kechudo shalmacha. Open me up in opening the eye of a needle. You do a little bit. And then the Medrash says, Vani aftach lachem, and then, squiggly underline 48, I'll open for you an opening that's the big of the Colosseum. Now watch this. If it's going to be exact, then the language in the Medrash should be different. You open up an opening of an opening, and then I will broaden the opening as the size of a Colosseum. It doesn't say Vani Agdal, I'll make it wider. What does the Medrash say? Vani Eftach Lachem Petach, I will make for you an opening, which means that Hashem's opening to help us will often come from a completely different place than we even imagined. You see, let me put this in English. We'd like to be in control. We'd like to know what the struggle is, how we're doing, and how we're going to overcome. Life isn't that way. Life is we struggle, we work to the best of our ability, and Hashem says, that's all I want from you. what the results are and how things are going to work out, it's my opening. You will see it coming from a totally different dimension. Now, my friends, final two ideas that I'm doing. I'm almost finished. I'm doing, because I got to get to these ideas. Who is this person that he's fighting with? So we had the Satan. We had Michael Gabriel, remember that? We're now up to number 4. Says the Rambam, Maimonides, the Ramban quotes it in 49, that all of this experience happened b'marei hanevua. It was all in a dream, in a prophetic insight. The Rambam says it never happened. Who is Yaakov Avinu really struggling with? Bigger. Himself. This is the struggle that we go through. The struggle of good versus evil. The struggle that we go through in our lives overcoming these mitos. That's what the Chumash is telling us. According to this, what is Lamazet Tishal Lishmi? So I'll share with you one final idea. It's as if the struggle is happening between two parts of us. And it's as if one part says to the other, Lamazet, why is this? Why are we struggling? What is this struggle all about? And the answer is, Tishal Lishmi. Ask for what my name is. That will give you clarity on your struggle. What does this mean? So I'd like to share with you, it doesn't have a number, it's a bottom left source from Pe'er David, which Emir Hashem will be, I found in researching for this sefer I'm working on, that when a boy or girl is named, we say, Vikare Shmo B'Yisrael, and their name shall be called, whatever the name is. It's future tense. It should be, and their name is called. Right, Yikra. It's called now. What is Vayikare Shem? It means that Hashem has a vision for every person, and their name is the vision of who they are. And our job is to be aligned with that vision. You want to know a person, Shema Garim, look at their name. Vikare Shmo, the bracha we give to the child is that you should always be called by that name that Hashem has envisioned for you. And this is the idea that the Jewish people didn't change their name in Egypt. It's not just Reuven, it's Reuven, and Sarah. They didn't change their essence. They remained loyal to the vision that Hashem had for them. How do we overcome our struggle? We have to always continuously ask, who am I? What is my name? What is my essence? Where am I from? Where's my grounding in my life? When I have that type of clarity, so that it helps me reorient myself and I realize what are the real battles of my life, what should I really be focusing in on, and what are the fantasies that are just trying to what? Derail me from my focus. Ad kan.